Pressure, children. So again, what is pressure? What are the different types of pressures? And we will be learning about its unit and formula, about atmospheric pressure and how this is applied in our day-to-day lives. So let's begin with pressure. So what is pressure, children? It's defined as force per unit area. So you can see here that pressure can be defined as force per unit area. So what is the definition of force that we learned? It is mass and acceleration. Mass into acceleration. So there we are learning about how much of force is applied and in how much of in which direction. But when you consider the area on which this force is acting, it is nothing but pressure, children. Here we are describing more. We are adding more to the force. And what are we adding here? We are adding area to the force. So on how much area, how much of force is applied? On how much of area, how much amount of force is applied? If you consider that in particular, it is nothing but called as pressure. So it is force which is acting in a unit area. We are considering specifically a particularly certain area. So when you are describing force which is acting on particular area, then we call it as a pressure. Pressure is nothing but force per unit area. More specifically or more appropriately, we should be using the word thrust here. So it's very important, children. Thrust. What is thrust, children? The force which acts normally. That means, say for example, if this is the body and if the force acts in various directions, right? But if the force is acting perpendicularly on a surface, then it's called as thrust. So perpendicularly, if I'm pressing a pillow, if I'm pressing a pillow or any body down like this, I'm pressing, then it is nothing but called as thrust. Okay, you hit a nail, for example. Okay, so you're hitting. You can see that this is the surface of the nail and you are hitting it like this. So what is it? It is making a 90 degrees angle if you are actually hammering the head of the nail. When you are hammering the head of the nail, it is making 90 degrees. That means perpendicularly you are applying certain force, and that force can be regarded as thrust, children. When you press the button down, when you are pressing it down, what is happening? Perpendicularly you are applying some force down. It is all called as thrust. Thrust is nothing but the force that is acting normally on a surface. Understood, children? So that force acting on a unit area, on how much area actually this force is acting, that gives you pressure. So here we can understand that area and pressure, very important to understand this, children. There will be many questions asked based on this, like pressure and area, how are they related to each other? Your answer should be they are indirectly or inversely related to each other. That means if one increases, the other decreases. There will be opposite reactions happening. If you increase the area, what will happen to the pressure? It will decrease. Tell me why the pressure decreases once you increase the area. So the force that you are actually applying is distributed over a wide area. Then what is happening? Each part of the area will be receiving little amount of force. Did you understand? So that's the reason why the pressure reduces. But so much of force, when it is acted upon a small area, then the whole force is actually concentrated on that small area, and because of which, every part of the area, every particular place of the area experiences that huge amount of force. So the pressure increases. You have to understand that if the area is doubled, the pressure will be halved. So it's nothing like that. It is nothing but it's like that, oppositely or inversely related to each other. If the area decreases, the pressure increases. If the area increases, the pressure decreases. So this is the relationship between pressure and area. Okay, children. Coming to the units, we have force. What is the unit, children? Newton. And what is the That is nothing but, we measure length in terms of meters. So it is nothing but meter square. So pressure is nothing but newtons per meter square, which is given a word called pascals, right? So 1 pascal is equal to 1 newton per meter square. So this is the SI unit of pressure. Definitely one or more questions will be coming from the unit and formula, children, like state the SI unit of pressure, state the SI unit of force, what do you mean by thrust. All these things can surely come in the examination, so prepare well. What is pascal? 1 pascal is nothing but 1 newton per meter square. It is nothing but the SI unit of pressure. Okay. Coming to the types of pressure, we have like solid pressure exerted by solids. We have seen pressure exerted by liquids also. This like the heating. Okay. Now coming to the types of pressure, children, you can see that there are basically 2 types. I can say the pressure exerted by solids and pressure exerted by fluids. So what are fluids now? Fluids are those substances which can flow from one place to another. Nothing but liquids and gases both come under the category of fluids. So all these things, hitting of nail or applying pressure on the solid substances are examples for pressure exerted by solids actually. And coming to the pressure exerted by liquids, again we have 3 types. Do you remember what they are? Yeah, they are sideward pressure, downward pressure and upward pressure. We see that these fluids, like the air in the, for example, air in the tires of vehicles. So constantly there will be that air present inside the tube will be exerting some force or pressure on the walls of the tube. If you take an example of air filled in the tires of the vehicles, actually you can see that the tire becomes a little harder because the air present inside will be constantly exerting pressure on the walls of the tube. So if there is any patch or puncture, then what happens? Suddenly, all of a sudden, the tire would burst like anything, showing that lot of pressure is exerted by the air present inside. So you can see that if there is a small patch or puncture, then what happens? The air with lot of force, it just tries to come out of that small hole or puncture, right? So in the similar manner, we have seen one activity regarding this fluid pressure, nothing but liquid pressure, sideward pressure and all that. You can see that when a small hole was when it is pricked, you can see water gushing out of that small hole with some pressure, with some force. So that indicates that they will be constantly exerting some pressure on the walls of the container. Coming to the downward pressure, again I told you that if 3 holes were made on if you take a bottle and prick 3 holes at different lengths, then you can see the water will come out with lot of force in the bottommost hole. Nothing but that shows that the pressure is maximum at the bottom. Why is the pressure maximum at the bottom? You remember that one, children? So children, do you remember this activity where I made 3 holes at different depths of a particular container? I filled it with water, and you can see that it is from the sea that the water came out with lot of force, and it fell at a distance. Can you see that? And B, next, and A, there was the flow was very, very less actually, with lesser force. So it indicates that as you go down, as the depth increases, the pressure also increases, and that is the reason why the pressure is maximum at the ocean beds. Can you understand now? Why? The shallow waters we don't experience so much of pressure, but as you go down, the pressure increases enormously, and because of which even the aquatic animals, actually they also have adapted themselves to live in such huge or enormous pressure. They have dorsoventrally compressed bodies and needle-like bodies and all, which see, needles are the adaptations that the aquatic animals actually adapt to cope up with that extreme pressures. So that is about the fluid pressure, downward pressure. As the depth increases, what happens? The pressure also increases, because at above this point you have so much of water above. The column of the water above mainly is responsible for the enormous pressure. It depends mainly on the amount or the mass of water which is just above it. You can see above A it is very less amount of water is present above A, and above B also comparatively lesser water only. But above C there is more amount of water which actually exerts lot of pressure downwards, and because of which C experiences maximum pressure. So same is the case with the atmosphere also, children. We can in one way say that we are actually this is nothing but a sea of atmosphere only which is present above the Earth's surface, right? So it extends to many kilometers ahead, and you can see that most of the air is concentrated to the first 10 or 20 or 30 kilometers only because of the gravity of the Earth, and because of which all the air also has got mass, no children? So it exerts downward pressure on the surface of the Earth, and that is really very, very huge. I told you that it is about atmospheric pressure, it is about 1.033 kilometers per centimeter square. So in this particular area, small area of 1 centimeter square, there is a huge amount of force that is acting, mass that is acting of the air. So it is nothing but it is the atmospheric pressure at the sea level, and it is huge, children. So we have seen what is atmospheric pressure. It is the pressure exerted by the air above us. So if you see that on top of us, like every one of us, like if you see 15 centimeters into 15 centimeters area, if you consider, then how much of amount of air is present over us? It's over 225 kilograms of air we are weighing every day, and yet we are unable to realize or feel it because of the internal pressure. Like the blood flows in our vessels with some pressure, right? The blood pressure, what we say. So that pressure, it nullifies the external pressure, and that's the reason why we don't feel the external pressure. So that is about the atmospheric pressure, children. It is so huge, and we have seen some examples also, like the rubber suckers. Actually, they also work on the principle of this atmospheric pressure only. And we have seen that activity of flipping the glass tumbler down with a cardboard down, with a piece of paper or anything down. It doesn't fall down because it is just held in that position by the atmospheric pressure. And even sucking with the help of a straw, that also involves atmospheric pressure, children. When you are sucking any liquid from a glass of juice or anything, then when first what you are doing, you are sucking in air present in the straw. Then what happens? The pressure inside the straw will be nothing but partial vacuum will be created inside the straw, and there is lot of atmospheric pressure outside, and that atmospheric pressure will push the liquid into the straw, and that's how we get to drink. So I'll just show you. So if you take a glass, okay, and you dip a straw, for example, then first what do? You suck in air. So inside there won't be any air now. Inside the pressure will be very less now. Now outside there's lot of pressure which will be pushing the fluid, inside the straw. So that makes the liquid to enter the straw. We all know that liquids move from high pressure to low pressure. Even fluids also, they move from high pressure to low pressure. So here it is high pressure, and inside the straw it is low. That's the reason why the liquid enters the straw and we get to drink it. So that also, drinking with a straw also involves this pressure, atmospheric pressure principle. Isn't it cool? Yeah, and then we have like so many applications of pressure. Actually, like it is very like day-to-day observation. Actually, why the straps of the belt, straps of the bag are made so wide, because when you are increasing the area of cross section, what is happening to the pressure, children? The pressure automatically gets reduced. The amount of pressure acting on your shoulder drastically reduces if the area of cross section is widened. Same is the case with the knife also. I showed you. Why are we able to cut easily with the help of the sharp edge of the knife and not from the blunt side of the knife? It is because the blunt side of the knife, on the blunt side the area of cross section is bigger, it's nothing but larger, when compared to the sharp end. So when the area of cross section is increased, the pressure is decreased, and that's why we are unable to cut it. When the area of cross section is greatly reduced, when it is made very sharp, then what happens? All the force that you are using is concentrated on that very fine edge, very sharp edge, and hence you are able to cut without any effort, right? So all these and also why are the porters, the coolies, the porters just place a cloth over their head while lifting heavy loads. So when they are lifting, you might have seen that these people, they put a cloth around their head. And what are they doing actually by putting the cloth around? They are actually increasing the area of contact of between the head and the load, and that is the reason why. What are they doing actually? They are increasing the area of contact such that the pressure of the load on your head will be minimized. So it's all about this formula only, children. When you are increasing the area, the pressure is reduced. When you are decreasing the area, the pressure is increased. Okay. We'll be doing just 2 or 3 sums here, children, in order to find out. I think it's very easy. I'll be giving you force, I'll be giving you area, and I'll be asking you to find out pressure. Will you be not able to do it, children? So it's very simple. Or sometimes I may be giving you pressure, I will be giving you area, you have to find out force. Or sometimes I'll be giving both pressure and force, you have to find out the area. I think it's quite simple. And also same is the case with force also. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. I'll be asking you to find out the force. If I give you after giving mass and acceleration values, I'll give off and I'll ask you to find out force. Can't you do that, children? Let's try and solve some problems now. Okay, children, let's see one example of problems that can be asked in the examination. So here you have, let us take this example first of all. You can see that I have given you the thrust. How much of thrust is acting? Nothing but force. I have given it as 500 newtons, and I have given you area of cross section on which that force is acting also. I have given you it is 100 meters square. Now what you have to do, you have to just simply substitute this in our formula, which is nothing but P is equal to T by A or F by A. Anything is same, right, children? So directly you can substitute it. But here is, you have to just follow a very, very important rule, children. Before simply blindly substituting off in this formula, you have to first check whether both are given in the corresponding units or not. It should always be in newtons and meters square, children. Okay, please don't simply blindly put off as soon as you see the amount or values over here of force or thrust and area. You should not. You have to see whether the thrust is given in newtons or not, and whether area is given in meter square or not. If they are given in any other, like say for example, usually area it will be given sometimes in centimeters and sometimes in meters only. So what you need to do, if it is given in centimeters, you have to first convert it into meters, then only you have to substitute. Here it is already given in meter square, so it's not a problem. Directly it is in newtons and it is in meters, so directly you can substitute and you can get the answer. How much is thrust here? 500. And how much is area? It is 100, so it is 5 pascals. It is 5 pascals. So directly you got the answer. What if it is given in centimeter square? Let us see that also. So if I give this as 100 centimeters square now. Okay, we all know that 1 centimeter is equal to 1 by 100 meter, right, children? 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters, or I can change it as 1 centimeter is equal to 1 by 100 meter. 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter is 1 centimeter square, no, children? So 1 by 100 into 1 by 100, that is equal to 1 by 10,000 meters square. So what did we get here? 1 centimeter square is equal to 1 by 10,000 meters square. So this is 100 centimeters what I have given now. 100 centimeters square is equal to this into 100, so this also into 100. 1 by 10,000 into 100. 1 centimeter is equal to 1 by 10,000 meters square. Then 100 centimeters square will be equal to how many meters? We have to see now. How much, children? It is 1 by 100 meters square. So this now you have to write here, or it is equal to 1 by 100 meter square. Got it, children? So what if it is 1000? Then it will be 1000 centimeters square is equal to, this you write first, into 1000 meter square. That is 1 by 10 meter square. Like that you have to first calculate or convert centimeters into meters, and then you have to substitute in this formula. Now let us substitute in this formula. Did you understand this, children? See, 1 centimeter is equal to 1 by 100 meter. 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter, that is 1 centimeter square is equal to 1 by 10,000 meter square. Now how much is given here? 100 centimeters square is given. So 100 centimeters square is equal to, you multiply both sides with 100 now. You get 1 by 100 meter square. Now let's substitute this. Now we have thrust in terms of Newton and we have area in terms of meters. Now you can substitute in the formula. So now let us substitute this. We have thrust in terms of newtons and we have area in terms of meter square. Now we'll substitute the formula now. In the formula, area is 1 by 100, or I can write this as into 100 by 1, which is nothing but 50,000 pascals. Did you get that, children? Did you understand? So this is how you are going to calculate. Sometimes what I do is, I will be giving you pressure, say for example 15,000 pascals, and I will give you T also, say it's 1000 newtons, and I'll ask you to find out area. How will you find out? Easy, na? Or I can write area is equal to T by P, nothing but force by pressure. How much is the force that is acting actually? 1000, and how much is the pressure that is acting? It is 15,000 pascals. It is nothing but, how much will it be? Calculate, children. 1 by 15 meters square. So that's how you have to calculate, children. Okay. So this is about the various problems that can come. Again, sometimes I can ask you, area I can just give you, say for example 100 centimeters square or meter square, and I'll ask you to find out thrust. At that time what will you do? P is equal to T by A. Now T you have to calculate. T is equal to A into P. Simply you are going to multiply area and pressure. So cross multiply, and these are the formulae that you have to remember. T is equal to, or F is equal to A into P, and A is equal to T by P. So this is how you are going to calculate. Okay, children? So any doubts regarding anything, please message me personally, and I'm here to clear your doubts. Okay? Do well in the examinations. It's going to be very easy. Just go through all the videos and all the worksheets that I have given to you, and surely you'll get nice marks. Thank you.